What is everyone? Welcome to the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where we stuff the news with
Stuff the
things we like.
news.
We pad it. We make sure it's good news for you. No, we talk about the stuff in the news that excites us, and we answer questions from you, the people. But before we get into that old song and dance, just chit chat with y'all for a bit, hang
Catch
out.
up. How you guys
Yeah,
doing? How was your
this
guys'
fine
weekend?
Monday evening.
Yeah,
Um,
Monday night news.
yeah, man.
It's just us two. You can ask a lot of questions since, we'll probably get through a lot of news really quickly unless Corey makes me throw up like a lot of pictures.
No, I won't. I won't. I promise. Not tonight.
Mhm.
There was a lot of stuff to talk about, but I picked important stuff. We can get some extra questions in tonight. You know, we got the Tom and Corey show going on.
Yeah.
We like to get stuff done up front and then have some fun.
Apparently,
Uh,
some people are surprised that you're not playing in Diablo 4.
hey man, you know what? Like priorities
Mm-hmm.
sometimes get in the way,
Mm.
and I am inundated with priorities right now, and I am so sad that I haven't played Diablo in like 3 days, but I have played it.
So you have
It is
played it.
fun. I am. I'm a druid, of course. Why
Mm-hmm.
would I be anything else?
We
Uh,
we only played Diablo 3 during the beginning of the shutdown. I
yeah,
never
on the
played Diablo
Switch,
2, but I know that Diablo 2 is, in the most part of
superior.
the community, it's the superior one. It's the one most beloved. It's the one that really gave a lot of legs to other action RPGs. In
Oh, it
the
changed the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, how do you
Four.
find it in comparison?
I think I'm having more fun with four because, and this is my kind of biased experience, is that I'm having fun with it instead. I'm like not rushing to get to the end game content. Like I'm enjoying the story and being like, whatever. It's been out for a week or whatever, week and a half, and I'm still only in act 3. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, whatever, that's cool with me. Like that's what I have time for now. And being okay with that has really like put the pressure up with 2. You know, I did that 13-hour live stream when it came out. And I was like end game content on day 1, like doing the grinding, doing, Uber runs, doing cow levels, all that kind of stuff. Just trying to get the best rolled gear I could. And not doing that is like a really great weight off my mental health. Like it's a way better way to play the game. So I'm cool with it. You know, I'm going out of town this weekend again for a family reunion, and so I'm like, when I get back, I'll hit the ground running.
Nice.
Place to get some into it. But yeah, this weekend was all right, man. I did, got some work done. Dane and I went out for the first time in a long time. Shout out to Neil and Amanda for babysitting the June bug. We got to see our friends Pat and Jim from my Damon's days. Uh, but yeah, I don't drink really ever, and they do, and I had more drinks than I should have. So today was a little rough for me
Mm-hmm.
in the first half. Not gonna lie, but doing okay now. Doing all right now. Tom had a full schedule
Yeah.
starting like Thursday night through Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny enough. I'll be a little vulnerable here. First of all, I like how people are like, all I see are ads for Diablo 4. The funny thing, only thing I know about Diablo 4 was that our boy Gabe Kunda from who was on our show, he voices,
yeah.
I believe, Anarius as a character.
Inarius.
Anarius.
Yeah.
And that's all I saw of okay, Diablo 4 is coming out. Like I knew when I think you mentioned Diablo 4 is going to come out, so I was like, cool, it's coming out. And then I think I saw like the billboard of like "See you in hell, Los Angeles,"
Oh
Diablo 4,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
all of it. I haven't seen one trailer, one cinematic, nothing, and I'm like, okay, it's coming out. It never hit me in the younger years. I was more of like a StarCraft, Red Alert kind of like strategy player.
RTS guy.
RTS when I'm talking about top-down kind of games,
Hmm.
especially like when Diablo 2 first came. I remember when I was a kid and people were passing around the Diablo 2 discs, and I was like, "What is that? Is that like an evil game that you're not supposed to play?" But everyone's like, "Yo, this is the game taught me how to read." And I was like, "Okay, for sure." But I mean, yeah, my weekend slash
Game taught me how to read.
yeah, man. I mean, I love when people say
A
that.
lot of reading. It
Yeah,
is.
like I feel like a lot of people I like hearing that kind of stuff, but I feel like my weekend started. Honestly, I was having like a pretty crummy week. And it all led up to, so I had a shoot that I assisted directed for on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I had a crummy week to be start out with, and it all kind of capsulated like Wednesday night, and then so the Thursday I had to like get prepared for the next day of like, cool, you're gonna be on 12-hour day sets, you're assistant directing, you got to be in charge of like all the other departments, you got to like be in charge of the like typically the production team, make sure like everything happens. The assistant director really just sets the day and the pace, and there's a lot of pressure to not be an asshole because there's a lot of guys who like and women who just like the power of being an assistant director, and it all goes to their head. And this was in 2 locations. So first 2 days was Friday, Saturday, and that was in one house, and then on Sunday was at another place which I didn't even know existed, right next to where Cora and I had shot a pilot a while ago, Lincoln Hops. It was right next to that.
Huh.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting. But this was my first time working on a set with film, and it was pretty cool. It was a 35 millimeter, so I learned a lot of different things and how it gets set up and what it takes, and the roles that like the camera department needs to do in that realm. I've worked on a lot of different sets where it's like, okay, cool, like this is what the camera department would do, because I never likened myself as a good cameraman, cinematographer, director of photography, whatever you want to call it, because I just feel like there's people who are more interested and actively wanting to learn and get better at it, like Corey. Some people would look at me and like, you're like a videographer. I'm like, I'm no, man, like I've done it, because it's like how Corey feels about acting. Corey was like, I'll only do it if no one else can do it.
No one else wants to do it.
Exactly. Where it's like, but I don't jump into it for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a rough ride. It was good stuff. Like we captured really cinematic looking things, which is really cool. The production value is like insane. I think it's probably one of the highest production value things like I've worked on in a short narrative form. And it was with some people that I had met. Corey, Peter, who plays Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
production designer, and like it's so funny because like they're like, oh, Peter's coming. I was like, who the hell is Peter? He's like, he plays Magic with us. I was like, I don't know this motherfucker. And he's like, he's the
Tom
tall
doesn't
guy.
come with us anymore.
And then
That's why
and
Tom can't do it.
and then yeah, and then he's
Too
like,
busy
oh,
entertaining all of you.
and then it's funny because they're like, oh shit, like you're actually gonna meet him on the set before you even play with him. I was like, and then half the time, whenever we can be away, he's like, oh, you building any decks? And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, oh, you should get this card. It's really cool. I was like, oh hell yeah. I was like, this guy knows. He's like, I just play all these other cards. Like, I don't play black. I was like, oh come on, man, gotta play black.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Corey knows this. This morning at 4 a.m., I had a lovely surprise that my water pipe was stolen out of my apartment complex. So when I went to go wake up to go, take a little morning tinkle, that wasn't a thing. So I promptly, was like, okay, what do I do? I woke up and got dressed, and then got to my office 4 hours early and brush my teeth, and kind of get ready for the day. And I was like, I kind of hate my life right now. So if my energy's a little low, everyone, you'll know why. But we are going to be here to give you the
Never,
news in
Tom.
our fullest.
The ultimate showman.
I don't know about
The
that,
greatest
man.
showman.
No, I'm not.
Tell me, do you wanna go?
I'm TP Barnum. No. No, I'm just happy.
You're no
that,
PP Barnum.
we have. It's funny. Last week we were a full 4 squad in, and today we got 2 of us here. And today we have T-Doc. So I'm just glad that we all made it through the weekend, and now we're here. And
do you have water yet?
You know what's? Oh, dude. You know what the really fucked up thing was? Like, I think I used to do this when I was on set before. Like, I haven't worked on like a long, really rigorous, things turn around very fast kind of, and like a lot of department crews in a long time. But I realized I don't drink, I don't sleep, and I don't eat. I eat the lunch that's provided. I drink 1 bottle of water, and then I sleep like 3 hours every day. And it's not because like
crash.
I'm terrible, or I'm like, I think it's honestly like adrenaline and a lot of anxiety
Hyper focused
to like perform based upon the expectation of like how like active and on top of everything else I need to be. Like the director didn't eat at all.
Mm.
For the last 2 days he didn't eat lunch at all. He didn't touch it, and he would just drink coffee and smoke cigs. And I was just like, dude, I was like, hey man, you got to eat. You got to be somehow sharp. And I was like, because if you're
Yeah,
if you're sluggish, then you're gonna be like, all
you're
right,
crashing,
yeah.
then
So
we're screwed.
yeah, and so like for me, like I fortunately was like I at least ate my
Not
lunch
cool,
and
folks.
yeah.
Feed yourself.
Feed yourself, yeah. So it was
Feed
rough.
yourself.
It was rough.
Hydrate.
But yeah, I have a cup of water here.
Good.
But that being said,
I
let's
have
get into the news, into the show. Thank you for the
sugar.
Showtime reminder, T Dog.
Yeah.
Everyone, as well as you know, at the second part of the show, we are going to have questions, so feel free to type them in. We can put them in our bank, but we do have some pre-selected ones. But first, let's go into the news. Corey, would you like to go or me?
Yeah, I'll go. It's we had our Xbox showcase happened, I believe yesterday. Again, busy days this weekend, but I can tell you there were some cool things that happened. We had some stuff from Cyberpunk. We had some stuff from some Xbox exclusives. But I want to talk to you about two specific things that excited me because that's what we do on this show. The first trailer we got to see that I want to talk about is this. Let me paint the picture for you. Chair. It's like a documentary style. Do you know who Richard Iowati is, Tom,
Is that IT crowd?
from IT
Yeah.
Crowd? His CG character sits down in a chair and starts talking about the age of heroes and how heroes are overrated. And he's a farmer and he's actually doing good in advancing crops and agriculture, uh, only to get close shots of a hero doing hero things. As this trailer unfolds, we find out that this is the newest and latest trailer for the new Fable game.
Mm.
So Richard Iowati is going to be a big part of it,
Mm.
and I'll say that, uh, yeah, very big part of it. And I'm kind of excited about it. I love Fable. I don't know if you've ever played Fable,
I
Tom.
tried playing it when I was a kid. It was like not my Xbox. So I didn't get that far into it, but I did get to the point where it's like, now you're gonna start your training. So like years pass, and then all of a sudden, like
Yeah,
you finish your training. It's like now go off to the
that
world.
would be a good one for Thirsty Thursday stream.
Could be.
It's chill.
Is this a
It's so chill.
continuation or a reboot?
So we don't know. So it
Mm.
used to be made by Lionhead Studio, which is now defunct.
Mm.
And this is just called Fable.
Mm.
So we had Fable 1, Fable 2, Fable 3. Now this is just back to Fable. So I am assuming it's kind of a reboot, but it also there's a lot of nods in the trailer to a lot of the key and famous things from the original games.
Could be like
So
God of War, where it's like
yeah,
one,
where it's
two,
like
and
a
three,
soft reboot
and
almost.
then they said
Yeah.
God of War, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm seeing this as a soft reboot, like we're like, which I'm totally fine with. They want to use whatever parts of the lore that they feel like serve the story and ignore the rest. Cool by me. You can kind of do that with these games because you were your own hero, and it was a lot about choices, like good and bad. If you could be a villain, and you're like the coolest thing back in the day for Fable 1 is when you chose to be a villain, your skin would start to
Go
turn all
gray.
gray and cracked, and you'd grow horns and like lose your hair. I just thought it was really cool back then. Never seen anything like that. Now it's like not a big deal, but I'm stoked. I'm really excited for it. It's no gameplay. It's coming out when it comes out, kind of thing. But it was cool to see a new trailer for it for the first time, I think, in like 2 years.
Mm.
The other thing I want to talk about is Bethesda's big flagship game, Starfield. We got two things from them. We got a gameplay trailer, which is the first gameplay trailer we've gotten for Starfield. They're heralding it as the next Skyrim, it's their big. They've invested the last like 6-7 years in it. This is God, I'm blanking on his name, but the head of Bethesda. It's been his like baby since he started making games. He's been
Todd Howard.
yeah, Todd Howard has been imagining this since he started making games. So this is his like, magnum opus. So we got a gameplay trailer, and then we got a 45-minute deep dive into the game. We got things like characters, story, character creation, ship creation, all that kind of stuff. And it was very, very cool to see. And I'm just absolutely pumped for that game because we was supposed to be out already, got pushed. I support it. If you need to polish a game, polish a game. Please take your time, polish a game. But yeah, I'm stoked on that. I don't know if anyone else has been following Starfield at all, but it looks like it's going to consume my time. And I love Juniper. I love you so much, but it's so sorry. You're gonna lose out on some time
Just
with
name
me.
your character Juniper.
There it is. Yeah, perfect. Junebug. I'll name my ship the Junebug.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the two things that I wanted to talk about that I'm excited for. I don't know if you've seen any of the Starfield stuff, Tom, but
I've seen some stuff. I'm always like, now, I mean, even, again, it's tough, right? For me, I always just think of like American developers. I always just get more concerned of how ambitious they get.
mhm,
Especially when it comes to like Fallout 76, Cyberpunk 2077, like the big scope games that really you think like, or they're wanting and they're aiming to be these big revolutionary things that just in its DNA would um almost demand player bases like investment in, like, not saying like you have to like devote time in order to get your money worth, but just be like, this is one of those games that like it's not going to be like, okay, cool, a 72-hour campaign, I'm done. It's gonna be like one of those like you'll want to play this over and through and
it's
explore
like
like
Skyrim.
how you're talking about with Diablo 4, where it's like, hey, a week out and I'm still like enjoying what I'm doing,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild kind of thing. And I always get worried when like games are that big scope, because I just get like, hey man, like, I feel like Breath of the Wild was very smart and just being like, this is a new game. It's new Zelda. And, we're like Nintendo and we're Zelda. We don't have to say anything. But then they're like, this is a very different game than any Zelda you ever played. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that this is what you guys were talking about. We're like, I think almost, I guess, the same thing with Elden Ring. It's like, it's open world. We're not going to tell you how big it is. And when I hear like 76 and Cyberpunk, they're like, look at all these cities and all these places. It's like, all right, man, like, sell me is, like, that's the thing. I feel like that's the my biggest worry. But and also
Yeah.
I don't have an Xbox, so like,
Valid. That's true.
yeah.
Oh, the other thing that I was supposed to talk about with Fable is that it was announced that it's coming to Game Pass day one.
Good.
So,
That's awesome.
but you do have a PC, Tom. I think it's coming to PC. So,
Yeah, I get that pass. Yeah.
anyway, that's my news. Tom, what you got?
Well, I got a couple of things, a smattering of movie stuff. Hollywood Foreign Press is shutting down. So the Golden Globes will be given away to someone else to present, which will be interesting. I didn't look far into the Hollywood Foreign Press and the reasons why, but it is news and it just kind of changed. Only reason like it's kind of important and special is because they have been part of the Hollywood industry machine for such a long time. And also, the Golden Globes was kind of this like weird award ceremony that like these kind of foreign press elites would like hang out with the cast and directors and all those people to like give them awards like during the award season. And then also it would be this kind of precursor of like what is to come for the Academy Awards. That being said, it'll be weird to see, or interesting. It's just history in the making in that sense. Next thing is going to be Across the Spiderverse, the follow up to Into the Spiderverse. For our boy Miles Morales. That film has officially overcome or overtaken the first film's box office in 12 days. So sequels can be a more resounding financial success if people
Mhm.
have the right anticipation for it. However, it did not outshine its second week performance of with the first week of Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I think a lot of the marketing was really how do I say, reliant on having Peter Cullen back as Optimus Prime, kind of promising a less Michael Bay world, much more kind of focused on like
Plus
the
Beast Wars.
Cybertronians. But it does have a post-credit scene, which will kind of lead into another thing, which I do not want to spoil. It's only been out for 4 days. That being said, yeah, Transformers #1 in the box office, even with its relatively low Rotten Tomatoes score. But that's kind of the big thing. There was something I think that you mentioned that I wanted to talk about, and it was about video games or something. Oh, I think, what is it?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Yeah, I did want to talk about that. In the Air special demo display presentation of the latest installment of the Cyberpunk Saga story. They are going to introduce elements from the Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime,
Mhm.
which pretty much in the game you're allowed to switch out modifications to your body, aka your build. You know, it is a RPG. But in Edge Runners, they introduce like the more machine things you do to yourself, the more likely you'll be susceptible to a cyber psychosis, which means pretty much you just like have no control over your body and you kind of outlash and rage, kind of almost like flatlining your brain so that you're just kind of on an auto kill, which will be interesting to think, especially. I think a lot of people are excited because of how well Keanu Reeves was integrated to the story of, the initial game, and now we're having Idris Elba in the game. So, interesting stuff. I'm probably not going to play day one because why?
Yeah.
Especially on PC. Especially on PC. If it's on console, maybe. But I think right now any kind of PC games, which have heavy demand, quote unquote, top of the line, state of the art games are just too taxing and not really well optimized for performance. But exciting because I think Cyberpunk has definitely had one of those like turnaround stories in the same way as
No Man's
No
Sky.
Man's Sky did.
Yeah.
But
By
that
the way, this Rise of the Beast cast is stacked.
Oh yeah. Apparently, the director spent a lot of money and changed the look of one of the Autobots because of Pete Davidson's audition.
Yeah,
So,
not even Pete Davidson. I'm talking about the rest of this cast though. Anthony Ramos, Peter
Bruce
Cullen,
Navi.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Perlman as
As
Optimus Primal.
Optimus
Michelle
Prime.
Yeoh,
As a
Peter
Razor.
Dinklage. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Cristo Fernandez, who Football is Life from Ted Lasso. You got John DiMaggio. Like this is a wild cast. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, it's a huge cast. So I mean, I'm sad that I actually haven't watched any of those films. I haven't watched. I haven't watched Spider-Verse. I haven't watched Transformers. I don't know if I'll get to watch Flash this weekend, and then after that is going to be Indiana Jones. Like June is a packed month of blockbusters.
I'm not gonna see any of them.
Yeah, at least until they're
Unfortunately.
out on streaming.
It's tough, man. I was just, we were looking at it. You know that the average rate for a babysitter right now is $100 an hour.
Sounds about right.
So if I want to go see a movie,
Yeah,
I'm paying $200 to go see a movie with
maybe
my wife.
three.
Yeah. So, it's tough. It's tough.
It
It's
is
tough
tough.
out here.
The cost
Shout
of
out,
having
to Neil and
things.
Amanda. We don't want to abuse that, obviously, but shout out to Neil and Amanda. They're very kind people.
Um,
I think Past Lives comes out too, Tom.
It does. It does. Well, I'm going to
That
go.
one I'll pay $200 to go see with you.
We can do that.
Right.
Well, we can move into the questions, everyone in the chat or to the world. This part of the show, please, if you want to be involved and send your stuff in so you can be part of the show, you can send your questions over to questions@nerdon.tv. And you can join our free Discord at nerdon.tv/Discord. Those are your free
Yeah.
options. But if you're liking what you're listening to and watching and just want to support some people trying to
You
make
like
some,
what you see.
yeah. If you just want to support some people who are making some fun,
Give us
entertaining
some
videos. I don't know what that is. It looks like
sugar.
sprinkles. Oh,
Give us some sugar.
give us some sugar.
And
Just
this is my daughter brought. She walks around like this with it.
maracas.
Little
So
shake
if
weight.
you want to support us as low as $4 a month, you will
it's
get put
Seinfeld.
into this like fast pass system, into these secret servers, into Discord, and then we answer your questions first, such as Brad asks, what's your favorite fan edit of a film? Or if you haven't seen any, what is a movie you think could edit differently to its benefit?
I mean, do you consider Justice League a fan edit? Because I do.
No.
No,
That wouldn't
listen.
be my favorite.
Listen, it's not my favorite. No, I have one. I haven't seen it, but I've been looking for a couple years to try to watch it. And it's called The Phantom Edit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let Let me see if this is right. I'm gonna look it up right now. I think it's called. Oh no, The Editor Strikes Back.
Mm.
It's Topher Grace's edit of Star Wars,
Hmm.
and apparently it's been shown a couple of times. He's shown it to groups of people. It is hailed as pretty incredible. Uh, I think it's called is it Editor Strikes Back or The Phantom Edit. Let me see. Uh, The Editor Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
So Topher Grace edited all the Star Wars prequels into an 85-minute long uh thing, and he's gone on to do I think all of the films,
Wow.
as well as like the sequels. And so I'm dying to watch that because I've read nothing but incredible things about it, and I don't know where to find it. I'm not savvy enough to find those avenues. So that would be my choice. I don't think I've seen many other there's one other fan that I really like, and it's The Lord of the Rings, but only when Legolas and Frodo talk to each other.
So nothing happens.
It's just that you have my bow, and that's it, and then it goes credits.
Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
I think I would want to see, because I haven't watched any edit of a fan or any edits of a film. I don't know if I ever want to. There was, I think, one that I was
You want to see that Topher Grace one? You're not curious?
like, I guess, but it's just kind of like I'm seeing the same shit. Like, why? Again,
Hey, editing makes a difference, man.
I guess, yeah, but it's like, why would you edit it unless you want to change the story?
Yeah.
Right. And so like I would rather see a continuation or a deeper dive into the story.
Yeah.
And the only one that I would probably want to see is the Breaking Bad movie, where someone edited the entire series of Breaking Bad into a 2-hour movie, which is
That'd be
very
cool.
weird because I was like, how do you take like 80 hours and make it into 2 hours? Like, I don't know how that can happen. But I think if there is a movie that could benefit if it was edited differently, that's not Snyder Cut already or not, Justice League, I would say I would want to see maybe I don't know. That's such a hard thing. I don't watch the thing. It's like I think the editing should have been this way or blah blah blah. I think maybe no. I don't know. I don't
It's a
have one.
tough question. That's why I was like, I don't have one, but I know this one that I've been dying to see.
Yeah.
I also I'm very passionate about the prequels, so I'd be curious to see an 86-minute cut of them to see what we lose. There's probably not much Phantom Menace in it at all. Probably starts with like the Duel of Fates, and that's
Jesus.
the movie opens. Dun, 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 dun.
No, I mean there'd probably be no pod racing.
No, I doubt that.
Yeah, I'd just be like, "Are you an angel?" Anyways, so next question is going to be Dusk Ninja.
It would explain how you mess up your face. That's my favorite one. Did you fall from heaven? Why? That would explain why you messed up your face.
Dust Ninja Kenji asks, "What is your you're gonna have to help me with this. What is your favorite block from MTG? I started with Ravnica and I still have Azor's Elecutors, so that setting holds a special place in my heart."
Ravnica block was great.
Alara.
Honestly, Shards of Alara is your favorite block?
I don't know.
Shards of Alara was pretty great. There's a Lorwyn, Eventide, and Shadowmoor was pretty great. It's in a running of the Lorwyn block, which was Lorwyn, Eventide, and Shadowmoor, which introduced the like half symbol, where it's like either white or black or either red or and its setting was like I feel like it's what Eldraine wanted to be, where it was like it was a fantasy enough setting, but it wasn't quite as like funny into the like grim fairy tales. It was just like elves and fairies, and it was really, really cool flavor wise. I also have a soft spot for like Onslaught. Like the Onslaught block was like I think it's when I started that in Mirrodin, like in that time. So I have Onslaught was a big one for me. I'm gonna give it to Lorwyn though. Lorwyn, Eventide, and Shadowmoor was so much fun to play. and it was just such a beautiful set. That's where we got like Bitter Blossom from and stuff like that.
Mm.
It had a lot of powerhouse cards in it, and I would love for them to go back to Lorwyn. Like honestly, if I had to pick like a place for them, like a fan picked place, it'd be the Lorwyn Eventide Shadowmoor stuff. It was also cool to like build decks around the colors. Like so, Eventide was all about I think enemy colors.
Mm.
So it was like black and red and stuff like that. I had a total black and red deck, and a lot of cards depended on like if you play a red spell, this happens. If you play a black spell, this happens. But those symbols counted as red and black. So I would build whole decks that were like everything's red and black. So
Mm.
or everything's red and white. So every time I cast any spell, it triggers both of these things. And yeah, that was fun.
I started very recently in comparison, so I don't have too much experience. Like I think I would technically say if I started with my first commander deck, it was like Innistrad, right? Or
Mhm.
Crimson Vow.
Yeah, it's like the return to Innistrad
Yeah.
essentially.
Which I guess was the featuring of those grayscale cards that everyone hates, and then also introduces
Like them.
Decayed.
Mhm.
But that being said, so I got to see Return to Kamigawa or Neon Dynasty. I got to
Mhm.
see
Seen a lot of returns.
yeah, I saw New Capenna. I got to see
That's a new one. You gotta
Dominaria.
return you get the return to Dominaria,
Yeah,
you gotta return to this, you gotta return to Mirrodin, like
yeah.
the new Phyrexia.
New
You've seen
So
a lot of returns
so
there.
out of all that, I would say in terms of just pure aesthetic and like the ideology and the storyline, it probably is Return to Mirrodin New Phyrexia. Like I'm all about evil people and just like just
Praetors.
praetors. I like just the darkness and the evil people like getting a chance to win and like things seem like dark and shitty, but like also I like poise. I think infect is kind of rough to play with, but then like making it a little bit more low to the ground and like
With Toxic.
and at that point like I had kind of like seen a little bit of a breadth of like what cards can do and where they come from, but what block I have actually been around and been a player. I could say it was the commander set for Warhammer 40,000, but that's
Mhm.
not really a fucking set. So
It is.
yeah, so I mean I like the dark and macabre and a gothic, and so like
Innistrad, yeah.
yeah, I like that kind of stuff. And so I mean I really wanted to like Kamigawa a lot, but I was just like it's a little too like robotic ninja-y. And those are things I super love. I love cyberpunk stuff, but like it was a little too much. Like I was like, I want to see like demony shit, and only a few of them were very like I mean there's that one card which is oh my wow this it's the You're Already Dead. I was like
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that, but I was just like I need a little bit more. And so like you have Silent Blade Oni, which I don't think came in that one, but it was like the original Kamigawa.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then you have all the like the rat
Like
ninjas.
the old ones, the old Kamigawa, like Ink Eyes and stuff like that was such a cool flavors. Like you would have loved the original
That
Kamigawa.
I was
It
like
was
I
so
think that's
cool.
what I would have liked. I was like this was like
They introduced like Bushido with samurais, which was really cool.
yeah, I wasn't a fan of like the moon folk. I was like I don't care about these
Oh
guys.
yeah.
So but all right, next question.
Yeah,
Next
good
question is
question.
going to be from T Dog. This is an interesting
Shout out.
one. And I held this on because I know that you and I can answer this. Come
Okay.
up with an anime title, minimum of 10 words.
Come up with an anime, just any anime
Any
title,
anime
minimum of
title.
10
So I mean, it's
words.
like, are we making an anime, or because nowadays it's very in style to have animes where it's like that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That like those are
Yeah,
anime.
right.
Let me see long
It's a big one.
anime
We
names.
had her on our game show. One of the girls from that show.
Oh, nice. Seven. Suppose a kid from the last dungeon boonies moved to a starter town. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Oh my god, these are long ass titles.
Yeah.
The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime. There it is.
The Misfit
It's a
of
quick one.
Demon King Academy. History's strongest Demon King reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants. My favorite
My favorite topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? My God. We still don't know the name of the
uh,
flower we saw that day. Wow. But in 10 words or less. That's the thing. Or a minimum of 10 words. Oh, it has to be a long
Like,
title.
do we go really emo with it?
I
Like, I almost want to go like really teenager emo anime with it.
do it, edgelord, bro.
Yeah. I want to do like, but I also keep thinking of Kenshin, where I'm like,
Oh,
I
hold
went.
on. This is very emo. World end. What do you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us?
There it is. That's kind of what I was thinking.
But
Like,
that's already a thing. You have to make a new one.
I was thinking of something like that, where it was like now I got problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? It's stuck in my head. I want to do something like, I went I went to the I went to feudal Japan in a time machine, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt. Like, that's what I want, like
It's like a
that's
Bill
how
and
I want it to
Ted's.
be. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, a kid gets sent back, he's watching Kenshin, and then like gets sucked into the TV, and then he has to be Kenshin.
For me, I'm gonna say, um, I'm gonna
I
say,
got your picture. I'm coming.
I'm gonna say, uh, misfortune of training to be a paladin, starting out back at 1. What I imagine is like isekai is like a genre that just has been done to death, and so
Yeah.
mine, yours is isekai as well, but mine's like a guy who is into his isekai, and the typical swords and spells, um, RPG that he's sucked into, and he enjoys it, and he's right about to reach level 100, and then uh he like hits like not like a mimic but like a magical quest chest item, and it brings him all the way back to level 1. I think that's actually the plot line to Daihack Sign.
That's what happens to
GU.
Nikhil in our D&D is
Oh
he didn't
shit.
want to be he like didn't want to be a warlock. He killed his patron,
Mm-hmm.
and Ben was like, "You could be a paladin, but you're gonna be level 1." And he's like, "All right, let's
Wow.
do it."
But was he the same character, or was he a different?
Same
So was
character,
he like an oathbreaker then, technically, since he killed his patron?
but he was a warlock. He wanted to change
Uh,
classes, so
uh,
he like devoted himself to the light. So whatever
mm,
the opposite of an oath, but an oath
uh,
taker.
Oath taker. Ooh.
Uh, so
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So I'm gonna go into some of the Baint questions, since that's all of our questions are pre-selects
all right.
from our show today.
Yeah, I saw
Uh,
some in the chat.
question from T-Dog8282. Question: Who is the great Grump Gator Guesser Supreme?
Dude, come on, we're doing it. I got 2 more episodes done. I only got a handful left. It's
Okay.
happening.
Um.
So far, I'm still the grump. So
Okay.
see how it goes.
Okay. 51 Jonathan, aka Johnny Horror. Question: Have you ever had
Yeah.
an animal come into your work building or area? For example, today a skunk came into the warehouse because someone forgot to close one of the garage doors.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When I was working reception at a certain studio, we had a bird uh hit the window and then come in, and we had to deal with that. That was a lot of fun. Uh Working in I spent a lot of birds mostly, to be honest, because I've worked in a lot of buildings with big windows, and if we leave the door open, they usually come in. Um, so yeah, a lot of birds. I know how to catch birds really well.
I feel like, yeah, I've worked in some places and birds have come in because they would come into the mall and they would fly into our store.
Hmm.
I worked at a warehouse and birds would fly into there because they wanted to, build their nests there. And um,
It's nice and warm.
yeah, I mean, I also worked in a warehouse where I got very used to, or very keen to, knowing what a dead rat smells like.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I definitely saw. Oh man, I remember seeing a skunk walk, like frolic out of the warehouse, and I was like, it was so happy, and I was just like, I don't want to kill you because you're just like living your life, but also I don't want you around, so you just like get somebody.
Yeah.
But I was just like for like days, I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? It
Yeah, they don't,
knows how to
they don't
be.
want to skunk you, they just want to live their lives.
Yeah, but like I don't want them to like be nesting and then raising a family there. Like I saw
Yeah,
this
that's
one
true.
guy who was
Did you get
here.
it relocated or what's up?
It just we like pulled
Never
everything
saw it
away from the
again.
walls and it was gone. So I was like, okay, either it just left and it was just coming through. But I saw
Probably.
this one guy on Twitter and like he kept hearing scratchings in his walls, and then there was this hole outside, and then raccoons like had nested in the wall. And it
Mm-hmm.
was really sad because the raccoon mom was too big, and then she just passed away while her babies were there.
Well, she couldn't get in
No, like she
anymore.
got in,
Couldn't
and
get
then I
back
think
out.
when like she gave birth to them, all the babies were just there, and then the raccoon I think couldn't get out, and then she just
Oh,
passed away. I was like,
that's sad.
that's super sad, and I don't want that. I don't want that for anybody.
Um, that's so you didn't have to tell that story. That's so sad.
That's why I was
Here's a
like,
happier story. My family ranch, which you've been to, every year raccoons live under the deck, and we leave cat food out for them, and they come hang out. And there's like a big glass door there, and they come and see us and eat the cat food. And they do this thing where they look at us, but they're like eating the food this way and watching us, and it's the coolest thing. And they bring their little babies up, and I love it.
that's a good one.
Probably shouldn't do that, but
No,
my grandpa's been doing that since the 70s, so
you're
you
teaching
can't
them.
stop him.
Next question.
Yeah.
Zelda Moore, question for later. If y'all were to go camping, what would you have for your campsite, and what would you do?
If I went camping, Tom, I want to hear what you would do if you were camping.
So can you camp in Joshua Tree?
You can, yeah.
I'd probably camp there. I mean, I think it's close enough, but far enough. So it's close enough to be like, okay, we can go back. And it's far enough to be like, all right, well, we're out here. And I would want to be on flat ass fucking ground, because last time I went camping was for someone's bachelor party, and we were on an incline, and that was the most uncomfortable I've slept in a long time, because it was just like I feel like I'm sliding the entire time, and then like if you lay horizontal, I was like then I feel like I'm gonna roll down the thing, and I was like this is rough. But I would want to be on flat ground. What would you have for your campsite? What all would you do? I mean, obviously we'd have to have packed food and make sure we had enough beverage. My number
Mhm.
one key thing is to make sure we have enough ice to last us the entire time. Because the worst thing I think to be out and about, like if I don't have to, if I don't have the luxuries of like air conditioning and like soft floors, whatever, then I'm like, I just want a cold beverage. I want cold beverages that are hydrating and refreshing, and then food. You always think about going like that salty route. You think about like, cooking up some meats and jerkies and stuff. And I was like, man,
Bro,
like,
I'll tell you this much. You and Dustin are the reason I know I like Spam now.
yeah,
I
dude.
didn't think I did because all I thought was the chunks. And
No,
then you and Dustin were both like, no, it's fucking foul. It's the slices. And we cooked them, we
crispy.
fried them for
Yeah.
break. Oh, dude, that was incredible.
Yeah.
I talk about that all the time.
And then you just can't fire it out. You know where the wind's blowing. You get all the seats, upwind, so not all the smoke's going in your face. And then you just sit around, talk, drink, cook food, and just like I would just Korean barbecue the thing. You got food on the thing, you eat, you talk, you drink, and you smoke, whatever you
Mhm.
want to do, and you just vibe out. I don't think you necessarily need to do hard, drugs to get really high or anything, but you might just enjoy the time and the space.
Tom, that sounds all good to me. I would include smash burgers, but the rest of that sounds great. Flat ground, whatever. I like camping in a forest. Joshua Tree seems nice, but I really do enjoy the foliage.
Oh yeah, okay.
Camping.
And that's the case. Yeah, I guess. But can you do like you could do like a fire in the forest, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
campgrounds are made for that. They like brush that area out, and then you have certain things you need to do to put the fire out when you're leaving, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the one we went to had a big metal trash can basically that we built ours in. Uh, but yeah, I like I like redwoods. I like big forests. Like we did Big Basin, which burned down where we camped. So that doesn't
Damn.
exist anymore. Uh, during the California fires. But yeah, just chilling. Music. I like board games are always fun. Card games are good. Drinks. Yeah, I like having burgers, and I like pancakes. I really like pancakes when I'm camping in the morning. Like pancakes, eggs, and Spam now are like what I think about. And then somewhere nearby, like either a good hike or like like a waterfall you could hike to and swim at would be ideal. Because that's what I'd suggest we all do.
Nice.
Because we went to that beach and that was not good. Dustin and I had crazy allergies, and my sister gave us all expired sunblock, so we all got really burned.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Um,
But yeah, that's what we'd be doing.
let's
Bring my guitar because I'm that guy.
You are that guy. I might take some pictures.
You do video,
Next.
Tom. You'd make a perfect reel that nobody asked for, and we'd all cry because we're like, what? Like you did for our wedding.
Just capturing some moments. Ethan Who asks if you had unlimited money to make a movie, new idea, existing IP, anything, what would you make?
Mm.
I feel like we get those a lot.
Lord of the Rings. No. Existing IP, but a new movie.
This is new
Yeah.
idea, existing IP, anything. So it's all in parentheses.
Oh,
So whatever you want,
whatever we want to do.
unlimited money to make a movie.
Oh, I would do the kidnappers.
Kidnappers?
I would I would finish that script, make it happen.
Okay.
If I knew that we could not finance it ourselves. That's what's real. I mean, that shouldn't stop me from going back to it, but every time I start, I go, I don't know why I'm doing this. This would cost so much money to make. But I would do kidnappers, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Unlimited money to make a movie.
Or Snowfall. One of those two.
I was gonna say, I
Snowfall.
thought you were gonna say Snowfall.
Snowfall would be. I just think kidnappers would just be more fun to make. You know.
I mean, if I can find ways to make the things I think I've written and I can make. But if I had all the money in the world, man, I'd just make a goddamn 4-movie saga, Batman Beyond, baby.
There it is.
Because that's just gonna take a shit ton of money, and like I can't. There's no way in hell I have enough money I could ever save enough money to make that. So if I had all the money in the world, and I can afford it, and I could figure it all out, and pull in all the best people to do it.
Just get Zack Snyder to produce it.
I mean, half the time I'd be like, all right, unlimited money, then I'm going to buy out this studio to let me shoot it at the whatever biggest stages I can shoot at.
I could see you also buying your own theater to like show local artists' movies as well as like curated lists.
Oh
I could
yeah.
see that being Tom's endeavor.
Um,
Be like, hey, theater 4 that is reserved for local short films, friends projects, all that stuff.
yeah, I would totally like to do that. But I'd be part of the distribution arm at that or exhibition arm at that point, and that gets dangerous. Because then I'll start
If
becoming.
Quentin can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, but there's a reason why he only has one, right?
Yeah, you just need one.
I just need one. But yeah,
He has 2 now. He's got 2.
Yeah, too. I was like
Because I
Batman
think
Beyond.
he's got I think he saved the Cinerama.
Cinerama, he did.
The what's it called?
Vista.
He did the Vista. He owns a Vista, but I think he also saved the Dome.
Cinedome.
Cinedome. Yeah, right. That's his. So he's got 2.
And honestly, I would spend a lot of money to just ask James Cameron how he makes fucking hands look blue, because making a Batman Beyond suit, I'm like, this is gonna have to be that like. And that's the thing where it's like, do I want
Avatar level CG?
Yeah, because it's like I would probably want the suit to be very feeling like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit. But like if like that, there's a hard shell over the face.
Yeah.
But like the way the Batman Begins suit and mask works, like you see his mouth and teeth, and so you have to use like a CG of something. And I don't want him to look like he has painted black lips. And so it's like, but also, how do you make that look attractive where someone would want to kiss him because Batman kisses people in his suit? So I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? So it would be a little bit of an endeavor to figure that out and concept that out. But
did you see the trailer for the new Avatar game?
There's an Avatar game?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's coming out.
I did not see that. Oh! That's the bit of news that I wanted to talk about, like a little bit like, there is a bit of movie news. Sorry, everyone. Addendum to the movie news. Fucking Kevin Smith says he saw the fucking Schumacher cut.
The what?
The Schumacher
He saw
cut.
it?
There is the Joel Schumacher cut of Batman Forever. which is supposed
with
to
the
be
bat
which is
and
supposed to be much more like, dark and
psychological.
cerebral.
Yeah.
And he is going to do a podcast with Mark Bernardin to review it, I think on the 19th. So that'll be very interesting. Very interesting to hear about. And apparently, some people are reporting that they have seen the air cut of Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's crazy. We're in a weird time. Maybe one more question and then we'll be done for the night.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is going to be from 51 Jonathan from tonight. Question for the show, because my Boogeyman movie is about to start. Did you think you had a boogeyman under your bed when you were a kid?
Not under my bed, but when I was living with my dad at this place out in Petaluma, it was like this big old 1900s farmhouse. I had this little side closet thing, and I thought that thing was for sure there was something in there at night. It was like it was not a large enough closet to walk into. Like it was kid sized, and it was just like a little, like it must have been a storage thing, like an
Mm.
office storage. But we used it kind of as my closet, and it terrified me.
Hmm.
Yeah, didn't like
I
that.
same way. I didn't think it was under my bed. I definitely felt like he would like appear in my closet.
Yeah,
Just because they're shirts and they're stood up, and so
shapes.
they look like
Mm,
the shape of a being.
yeah.
But if it's under my bed, I'm like, give a shit. And so like I
My
definitely,
bed was on the floor with my dad too, so definitely not under the bed.
yeah, no, yeah, and the way Asian people are, your bed's always furthest away from the door. So it's probably you're like kind of facing, whether you're turned on one side or the other, towards your closet. So the first thing you're gonna look
Mhm,
at is a closet.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, yeah, mine was definitely a closet, but I heard that Boogeyman movie's not bad.
Yeah,
I heard it's
I
not
heard the
bad.
same. There's
Uh,
also a new horror film, it's coming out that I really wanna see from A24. I think it's called Talk to Me?
oh yeah, that's the Rakakeka guys,
The what?
the Rakalaka guys. You know the Harry Potter versus Star Wars,
Yeah.
the crazy Avengers versus
Oh,
Justice.
yeah, 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 yeah,
They
yeah.
made that film.
Really?
Yeah,
Looks
and then
good.
they
It
talk
looks
about
good.
possession, and they kind of make an allegory of like possession and like Ouija boards as like puberty. It's
Mm,
very interesting. I'm like, I want to
interesting.
see that shit. And they're like, yeah, and I think it premiered at South by
I'm
Southwest,
looking it up right now. Yeah.
and it fucking like everyone loved that shit, and they were like very much being like, YouTube was our playground to figure out everything we wanted to do with this one. And over the
Interesting.
years that they've just been doing a bunch of shit with YouTube, that they figured out like how they want to make this film. And I think after the festival, how it premiered and how it got like such rave reviews, um I like how journalists always say it's like DC is like, which one, James Gunn or Peter Safran, which one? Reached out to them, and they wanted them to direct something for DC, and they said no, they want to stick doing their own like original
Their own
stories and
thing.
stuff.
All right.
I was like, cool, that's fucking power to you guys.
There
More
you
job for
go.
me. But that will be the show for the
That's the
night.
show, guys.
Mamba, it's all good. You came a little late. Hope your raid was good. Does anyone know if Bad Reprint is going to be streaming? Because we can go ahead and raid him, but we'll figure that out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in on a Monday night, start of the week. I hope your guys' weekends were great. Hope your week coming forward will be even better. Corey, thank you for making it in, even though you also had such a long week before.
Yeah, no, nothing in comparison, Tom.
No, it's fine.
All
Don't
good.
don't minimize. Don't minimize. Everyone's experiencing their own levels of
Hey,
weight and load. Uh,
thanks.
and we
Everything's
got.
hard with a kid.
It's funny that actually I was gonna say the weight and load. It's funny that you didn't say that pre-release is coming out this week.
Because I can't go. I'll be in Colorado, and I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
very sad. It's
I
like I
can't.
don't really like, go to pre-releases anymore, but it would be one I would go
I
to.
would
But
have
I was like,
spent a lot of money if I didn't have to save money.
yeah.
I,
I also do. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. I like put in my pre-orders for stuff months ago, and I'm like, this is the set I've always wanted to buy, and I just can't right now, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just buy singles when the time comes, you know?
Yep. All right, everybody. That's it for the show. Also, some news. Look out tonight and tomorrow morning. If you're a patron, you will see our new episode that we recorded.
Mhm.
And I will tease it out. It is faithful adaptations. Do super faithful ones how they work and how they don't work.
It was such a fun conversation.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a analysis, dissection between us hosts, and we would love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you are a patron already, you guys can go check it out on Patreon, and you can see what it's like. For the rest of the audience who are not patrons, you will not get the early access. You'll get that later in the week. That will be the end of the show tonight. Let's go and see if we can give someone some good vibes. Let's go Ali Eldrazi playing some Magic the Gathering. We'll start the raid. Well, can't raid them at a time. So I guess they're ending their stream. Kayla
Aw,
DMTG.
there we go. More MTG, baby.
MTG it all up. Do it for us since we can't do it. Thank
Yeah.
you, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Corey, sing us out.
Baby, I compare you to a kiss run. No, y'all know the drill. As always,
Nerd
nerd
on.
on.